Come on, go. All right. Hello, everybody. Tony, if you're watching, Adam, if you're watching, the rest of the Reset League, if you are watching, I am the Mets owner, Alan, and I have Mike of the White Sox, and I have Phil of the Rays. These guys have taken some of their Friday night to hang out and talk some Reset League, and we're going to do a little bit of predictions on how we think the divisions are going to shake down and whatever else might come up. I did actually have a private or a DM'd listener question regarding pizza in Chicago for you guys if we get to that. So first, thank you both for coming and hanging out. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm well. I'm happy it's Friday.
Happy it's Friday. Oh, yeah, you guys probably have like real jobs and stuff. It's like an actual weekend for you guys, huh?
Well, you know, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So at the end of Friday, I was pushing for at 2:00, but Phil has a more serious job, so he couldn't.
Who can make what regular working adult can make 12:00 on a Friday? Come on, Mike.
Well, Alan did say he was available at most hours, so I believe Alan probably could have. Would you have been okay at 12:00?
Yeah, I probably would have been, but I have I have a weird job, so
that's 10:00 your time though.
Oh, that's true. Also, well, no, if you guys are central, that's 11 for me. I'm an hour behind.
You're 1 hour behind. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would have been 11 for me, but yeah, I still would have been fine. It's like when wife goes to the gym and I'm just hanging out myself. So yeah, that would have been maybe next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk Reset League. You guys, obviously, this is both of your first times on. Did you have any like initial ABL4 thoughts that you wanted to get out of the way before we jump into the divisions or anything? Like, how do you guys like your teams? Did you guys like the slow auction? Like, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but go ahead.
It was I think it was our second or third, or maybe you've done a couple more, Mike, slow auctions. And I thought the first one I did well, the second one not so well, this one a little bit in between. And it was my first 30-team league. So it was definitely a little bit of a learning curve. You see some of the teams that coincidentally I marked down as division winners that have nice, deep, strong teams where they didn't spend too much money on, a few guys. So that was the biggest challenge for me, just trying to figure out how I'm going to fill my team, since I may have spent a little bit too much on a few players. So yeah, I think the bigger format league was definitely something new to me.
So I'm gonna be with
Mike, had you done a slow auction before, Mike? I mean, other than
literally our first slow auctions were together in Breaking Bats, I believe. And then, however, this 30-teamer, everybody literally would double the price from what I was, ballparking in comparison to the Breaking Bats. What's the other one? Flog. Different prices
Fluke,
there.
Yeah, Fluke.
Everything was just different. Like Mancada for $33. That I kind of regret. I'm used to him around 50, maybe 20. But once I dive in, I'm like, well, no, I'm going to get him. I don't care how high it gets, but prices were not, because it's literally double the amount of owners, pretty much. So I was not prepared for that. This is probably my worst draft that I've had with you guys. So we'll see how that goes.
How do you feel now that it's over that you got J-Rod at 39?
Well, if he's the next Mike Trout, I'll be pretty happy. If he's not, I'll trade him to you for a couple good players, and we'll be good. If he turns out being pretty good, I mean, I can't argue, because $39 could end up being a bargain, so to speak. But
yeah,
we'll see. Fingers crossed.
You're getting best possible outcome already that he's starting the year with the big club. So
yes, that helps.
I mean, I guess if he's terrible and gets sent down, I mean, that sucks. But at least in ABL4, the prospects don't inflate year one, so he's going to still be 39 next year. Helpful. So it's not going to be 40 plus yet.
if he's Kellenick this year at $39, that won't be good.
It's funny because we both had chatted before the draft that after breaking bats, we kind of fell into the first day excitement, and we both went way too far in on, like, I went in on Torkelson for in the 30s, and I think, Mike, you have Witt for the 30s, and we had both told ourselves, like, all right, this draft, we're going to be smarter. We're not going to fall into that trap. You got J-Rod for 39. I got Adley for 25, so not a bad price, but I still.
Well, it's tough too when you have so many guys on the board at once. You're kind of looking at them, being like, "Well, shit, I have to get in on this guy now." You know, like, of course, an auction is always like that, but your standard auction, you're bidding on one guy, and he's on there for X amount of time, but you have time to kind of to think to yourself, okay, if I don't get him, I can fall back on him and him and him if I want. I can wait until later. I can nom this guy later if I want. But in the slow auctions, you're looking at 30, 60 guys on the board all at the same time. And if you see 2 or 3 of your catcher targets or your third base targets, whatever, you're thinking, well, shit, I have to get one of these guys. Yeah. And then you kind of get into that. Suddenly you're overpaying and hoping to see, he's hoping to see that thing flip around again. And then as time goes by, it doesn't. And then you're stuck with a guy maybe you don't hate that you got stuck with him, but you kind of wish that somebody had flipped you as well. It'd be hard to find somebody in one of these leagues that has not been in that spot because you get stuck price enforcing, or you get stuck in that FOMO mindset of, oh, I need to grab Moncada, or I want a good young catcher. Or, for me, it was some pitching. I didn't necessarily want Hunter Green, only $9. That's different than $39. But I was kind of hoping somebody would flip me on him.
That's a great deal. It could be a great deal, though.
That could end up being great, but at the same time, it just wasn't a guy. It wasn't where I planned on spending $9. I kind of thought for sure that somebody was going to come along and grab him because 9 was his max. If somebody would have bid 10, they would have took him. But then I have to reallocate. That I just spent $9. I didn't plan on spending. So
yeah.
But at least it's a slow auction. You do have time to work that out. I guess if nothing else, you've got a good 7, 8 hours, 12 hours before some of these guys come off the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I imagine that everybody's going to have a different take on, especially if it was their first 30-teamer and first slow auction. I think a lot of us probably would have did some things differently. But
no doubt.
These are what they are. This is a reset. At least it's not a true dynasty. So we all will get another chance in a few years. But as it stands now, our teams are our teams. So with that, let's get in a little bit on how we think some of the other guys did. I guess it kind of in a way is a critique of the draft because it's so early in the season, and most of what we've done is with trades in mind so far. But I want to, of course, make a disclaimer that in some of every division, somebody's got to finish last. I want nobody's shitting on anybody's team. Somebody's got to finish last. There's going to be teams that we think that make the playoffs, and there's going to be teams that we all think are going to be 4th or 5th. But I'm not shitting on anybody. I doubt you guys came on here to shit on anybody. I didn't tell you to shit on anybody. I just said let's do how we think the divisions are going to shake down. So let's start with the AL East. I typically start with AL East on these things. Phil, who did you have? Let's start with the top. Who did you have winning the AL East, and kind of why?
Yeah, I had the Blue Jays winning the division. I felt they had strong pitching. I love the value for the pitching side of things. I thought Rue for 16, Stroman for 15, Gratterall's on there. Wheeler was good value for 32. I like what they did with that. The only critique that I would have is that for me, Haniger and Duvall maybe a little bit too pricey for me, but I like the Blue Jays to win that division.
Okay. What do you say, Mike?
So I went with the Yankees. I thought they had a pretty solid balance of offense and pitching. Evaldi, Diaz, Barrios, not today, Barrios, but hopefully Barrios of the past. Snell, Manea. That's a pretty solid pitching rotation. And then you got Walsh, Donaldson, Stanton, and Grisham. I thought that was the most balanced team in the AL East. Maybe not the best because there's better pitching rotation with like the Red Sox, maybe even the Rays. But I thought the Yankees had the best overall team in that division. So that's what I finished first.
I also had the Jays on top, and I only wrote like some little blurbs about them as I was looking at them. For the Jays, I put nice offense. They have some speed and some pop, and a really great front four starting pitching. So yeah, Phil and I kind of agreeing with the pitching side of the Jays, and I think they do have enough speed and pop to probably get them through most weeks. And a running theme of almost every team that we're probably going to be able to say is like, oh, they're a little thin here. It's a 30-team league. We're all thin somewhere. Like every single one of us is going to be thin somewhere. So I kind of, as I'm looking at this, I realized that I wrote that for pretty much everybody, that thin bench or thin relievers, thin whatever. We're all going to be thin somewhere. So yeah, Phil and I both have the Jays on top. I guess I'll start with my number 2, and we'll just swing back through. I have Baltimore at number 2. I put that they have a very powerful offense with some speed. The starting pitching does need work, but I'm not looking at the team. I guess I could have brought these up. Really I have Baltimore. Say that again.
I was just saying 2 starters basically between Webb and Yanoa, if that's how you say it.
Yeah, it needs work. But I liked him enough to put him number 2. So that's my number 2 in the division. And, of course, a playoff team, the first and second teams in every division we're obviously calling playoff teams. So those are my 2 from the East, Toronto, Baltimore. Mike, who you have number 2?
So I actually had, unfortunately, Phil's team at number 2. Solid offense, Abreu, Baez, Bregman, Seager, Torque, Adley. So, I mean, there's definitely some potential there. Gosman, Molly. Never said his name correctly, or if he stayed healthy. And then Flaherty, depending how he is when he comes back, it's big potential there. Some injury risks, but potential.
Sure.
So I actually picked him as the wild card winner too.
Yes.
I might jumped ahead a little bit in the segment there, but if I'm talking about him, I might as well put that in.
Yeah. No worries.
I hate to argue with you, Mike. It's a great pick for the number 2 in the East, but I'll say I went with the Yankees for my second place team, just to kind of expand on what you said. I like their pitching. They have 4 to 5 solid starting pitchers. They have good depth. I wish I saw a little bit more high quality position players. I see, like, if Stanton has a great year, Hampson, if he has a breakout year, I'd like to see Grisham maybe take that next step. So love their pitching. Not crazy about all the offensive players, but I think they have enough to make a good run at it with the pitching. So the Yankees are my second place team.
All right. And who you have coming in third?
Third, I will take my Rays. I try not to be a little bit biased, but
sure.
I like. I'm what I have down is thin on quality major league pitchers or major league players. I'm sorry, and if I have injuries to any of my key players like Bregman or like Seager or anything, my already thin team, especially in the outfield, is going to be even thinner. I'm waiting for Adley and Brennan Davis to come up, but like some of the pitchers that I got, Malley at 21, I feel like he could be a good keeper for the next few years. And then all signs point to Syndergaard being healthy. I like that value at 17 and Flaherty at 22 as long as he's healthy. So some high impact players, but I don't know if I have enough depth to really make a run. But I'll throw myself in at third.
I had you a third also, actually. I'll skip Mike real quick just because I did have you a third, and I said a lot of the same things. I said that the Rays have a very thin but solid offense. No save hold guys to speak of. I don't know if that's actually true, but I guess Yimi Garcia could potentially be one.
It's thin in the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah. I guess they could be. So not none, but obviously it's not where you spent your money. And I said, need Jack to get back and healthy. And
Yeah.
if he does come back healthy, that is a huge boost to what could be a pretty solid, especially if you get 80% of Syndergaard back, is still probably going to be a pretty serviceable starter in a 30-team league. So
It's a great time though for me to plug that if you're in need of a pitcher, I'm in need of an outfielder. It doesn't always feel good to have Jake Marisnik in center field, so come my way with outfielders.
So yeah, I had Tampa Bay finishing third, and I also had Tampa Bay taking the winning the one of the wild cards in the American League. So I have 3 playoff teams coming from the AL East. Maybe like real life. Who knows?
Yeah.
Mike, who did you have number 3 in the East?
Actually, the Blue Jays number 3. I like you guys said, I like their offense. The pitching after Stroman and Wheeler kind of dips off a little bit. Ryu, I mean, there's potential there, obviously. But yeah, no, third place is where I put them.
That's fair. Little lower on the Jays than Phil and I, but yeah, I can. I mean, the points are especially if Wheeler is you don't like to see shoulder for a pitcher ever.
Yeah.
So
no.
if there's something more wrong with him than maybe we're being led on.
I just feel like we're all doomed for the first month because it's essentially, Steve Stone, when I was listening to the White Sox today, said it perfectly. He's just like,
Tony.
you go through a dead arm period in spring training and then you ramp it back up. Now they're going through the dead arm period now. There's going to be a whole lot of bad pitching like we saw today, probably for the first month. After that, generally, I think it'll level off and get a little bit better. But so I'm not too worried about Wheeler. I don't think he's had injury issues in the past, when I recall.
Not for a while, at least. Maybe early with the Mets. I think he had something, but I think he's been a bit of a horse, for a little bit now.
Yeah.
So Jays in third for Mike. Sorry, and then fourth, I have the Yankees. Yankees, I said decent offense, but they're lacking speed. Pretty nice SP and RP. I don't know exactly what it was that gave the Rays the nod over the Yankees, because I know I wrestled with that for a bit.
Probably the speed.
It could be the complete lack of speed, because Hampson is technically speed, but I don't have the faith in him. And I think it's really just after those front 3. I don't know, Snell. I'm not a Snell guy. Anybody that's been in the ABL for a while knows I'm not a Snell guy. So I think it's nice starting pitching, but it's kind of fragile starting pitching. Not that you really can't say that about everybody, but I got the Yankees in fourth.
The only argument I wouldn't even call it an argument with Snell is realistically probably his fourth best pitcher. So if your fourth best pitcher is the fragile one, or just not a big fan of it, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But if that's that's a problem.
Who did you have in fourth, Mike?
I had the Orioles actually in fourth. Their offense is awesome between Bichette, Yelich. Yelich, if he rediscovers who he was a few years ago, but even him, he's not the face of the offense there. You got Harper, Tucker. So, that's a pretty great offense. Now, the problem you look at on the pitching, basically the main 2 starters are Webb and Yanoa. That's how you say it. It's trouble after that. So you got to hope that you're getting some decent decent starts from the other guys, and Garrett Crochet out for the year. That doesn't help anybody.
Man, you know what? Now that I'm re-looking at this, Baltimore at second, you might be able to convince me pretty easily that maybe Baltimore is not. Yeah. Phil, who did you have in fourth?
I have the Orioles as well.
Okay.
I love their offense. I'm pretty bullish on Elias Diaz. I think he could make a big impact in Colorado there. if Gavin Lux ever takes the next step, but Bichette, if Yelich becomes the guy that he was for a couple of years, like Harper, Tucker, how can you not love that offense? And then just to kind of like beat that dead horse that you guys are saying, like I wish that I saw a little more pitching there. I've never been the biggest Logan Webb fan, but he still continues to get it done. He pitched another good game today, so they're going to need Webb to be a horse for the Giants and for the Orioles in this league if they're going to make an impact. But yeah, I have them at 4th. And
I think I'm with you guys. I got to flip flop. I got to flip flop Baltimore and the Yankees. I think I'm with you guys.
All right.
Yeah, I think you guys are right on this. Yeah, the more I sit here and look at Baltimore, that pitching is so. And what did I say? I said SP needs work. Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, I don't know if that's enough to carry him. I mean, you can make a deal or whatever, of course, but yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I think Baltimore needs to drop down a little bit. I had him at 2. I think the Yankees are better. So either Tampa Bay gets moved up to 2 and the Yankees to 3, or just flip flop Baltimore and the Yankees. But yeah, I think you guys are right on. My question would be,
how do the Orioles handle the keeper situation with salary increase next year? Because you're looking at Harper at 61, Tucker at 50, Bichette at 49.
And he acquired Tucker. He did not draft Tucker. He acquired him from the Phillies in a trade. So that's a playing for this year kind of move.
Just to butt in real quick, Teoscar Hernandez just tied the game up in Toronto. 3-run homer. 7-7.
Oh man. Of course, that's the guy that all right, wow.
So that's going to be a pretty pricey few guys that the Orioles have. So I think at least myself, we need some outfield help. So Scott, come let's talk after this, Scott.
Contact me first.
So see, I guess that remains. We all have the Red Sox sitting in 5.
So they might maybe have potentially the best pitching staff in the league. I don't want to crown them that, but they're near the top. But the offense, I mean, basically, Ty France might be their best offensive player. Maybe. I mean, if I'm looking at it,
I think legitimately, yeah.
I mean, Hira, if he takes the next step in Milwaukee, which they said he made some, swing adjustments. I liked him coming into the league. I was big on him, but
what happened to Hira? The guy was a can't miss prospect a few years ago. He came into the league. That first year he hit like 330 or
hit some homers.
Like that. Yeah, and the last couple of years it's just been awful.
He's striking out 45% of the time. Yeah.
Yep.
It was batted 168 last year and 51 games. Which is OPS of 557, if anyone's curious.
Remember when we were growing up and a guy hitting near the Mendoza line was like a big deal, and then Mark Reynolds did it for like 2 years and it wasn't such a big deal. Now guys are like doing it every year and it's like not even a thing. You don't even call it the Mendoza line anymore because so many guys have hit under it. It's a shame. Joey Gallo last year. I mean, it could be the Joey Gallo line. Shit. Poor Mario Mendoza.
The 938 OPS that Hira had in 2019. 938. Then you take almost a 400-point dive 2 years later. But yeah, no, I like his potential, but he does really well to be in better shape. But then he still has question marks. Miguel Cabrera had a hit today, I think. But so who knows? But the pitching's there, no doubt about it. If he gives up a pitcher, maybe gets a couple hitters, I think he'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, the pitching obviously is. I said that the lineup lacks power and speed, and pretty much everything else. But he does have great pitching. And Gary probably knows that. It's going to be tough to get by in a given week. Just on your pitching. Yeah, like he's got the Jake Fraley types that can. It's got a little bit of speed, a little bit of power. Tyler
Yeah.
Wade, a lot of people are hoping for him to be a stolen base machine. And Ty France is a great hitter, but just overall, the lineup is pretty poor. And there's not a lot of depth on the bench. There's not a lot. I mean, Juan Yepez, and he's got some decent prospects, but it sorely is lacking in offense. And I think more often than not, that pitching is not going to carry him, to the weekly victories. Not a whole lot. It's not like he stocked up saves or anything to really dominate in saves as well as the starting pitching. So it's going to be tough for Gary if he doesn't get some bats.
It could be.
I really have nothing else to add. I mean, you think you guys nailed it. Pitching is outstanding. Trade some of that pitching for some hitting. That'd be my task.
All right, so that's the East. Yeah, so we're high on. I am ready to admit I'm wrong on Baltimore. I had them at 2. No offense to Baltimore, but I do think the more we looked at the teams here, I do think I want to drop them down a little bit and probably put them at 4th. So for me, Toronto, either the Yankees or Tampa are at 2 and 3, and then Baltimore at 4. I don't know what to do about the Yankees and Tampa really, but yeah, I think you guys got me. Let's go to the West. Mike, who do you have win in the West?
AL West, I have the A's winning the West. I thought between Votto, Polanco, Buxton, Frazier, not that Frazier's a huge offensive piece, but he's all right. Then you got Sonny Gray, McKenzie, Means. I like the depth. I thought that was the best overall team. The Rangers, I thought, had better offense. Maybe the Rangers have better. Maybe I don't know about better pitching, but Woodruff is probably the best pitcher out of the bunch, I would say, and probably that whole division. But I thought the A's had a nice balance of power, hitting, and some pitching as well. So I picked the A's.
What do you say, Phil?
Yeah, I can't disagree. I like the A's team, and I think it goes to show the professional that Duke is. He didn't spend too much. He has Buxton, looks like at 37, and everybody else is at a reasonable price. Even at 38, I like Votto. Gurriel, stud. He's got some good prospects, especially on the pitching side. He's got Clevenger coming back, Edward Cabrera, who may take the next step, and hey, maybe he gets something out of Forrest Whitley. I think if you've played fantasy in the last 5 years, you've had Forrest Whitley on your team. So one of these years he's going to come through. So good job, Duke. I like that team.
So I had Oakland in 2nd. I had Texas winning the division. And man, why is that? I guess I need to look at, because man, you guys are kind of doing it to me again. Where I'm sitting here looking at Oakland, and I'm curious as to why. For Texas, I said good lineup balance, great relief pitching. Andy has Woodruff as well, which, like Mike said, is probably the best SP maybe in the division.
Burns,
is the lineup that much better?
Burns is on the Mariners. Obviously, he's probably the best, but Woodruff clear second, I would say.
Sure. Yeah, I guess there's some what ifs with this line. It's the Mondesi team, so in a categories league, we know what Mondesi can do, but we also know what he's more likely to do, which is spend a significant portion of the season not playing for one reason or another. But he is the kind of guy that can single-handedly win you a couple few categories, a week almost. So if he has one of those months like he had 2 years ago where he steals 15 bases and hits 10 homers or whatever, that looks like it pays for itself. I don't know. I think I like Avisale. I like Teoscar. I like Wander. Decent pop at catcher with Murphy. Biggio in an OBP league, I like better in an OBP than an average league. I don't know. I guess I just feel like the lineup is pretty solid top to bottom. Nico, if he can take a step forward, I don't think he's going to be a power guy just because he hit that homer the other day. But Tommy Edmonds got a little bit of power, a little bit of speed. Nicky Lopez has got speed, and he's more of a batting average guy. But and I think the pitching is decent enough. The starting pitching after Woodruff with Marco and Tyler Anderson, kind of innings eating, nothing spectacular about them kind of guys. But then pair them up with Presley, Kenley. If Barlow ends up being the saves guy, you got to roll this Chapman. So those are ratio guys as well as save hold guys, and will help with strikeouts as well. I guess I just like the direction Sam went with getting that good relief pitching and using that as the base of his staff, and then pairing that with an ace starter like Woodruff. That's who I'm picking. I mean, I got Oakland in second. They're probably not far off from each other, but
I agree. I go Oakland and Texas 1-2. I got Texas, though. As I look at their team, I like them a little bit more. I think this is going to be a good. It's going to be a good race. I
nice
like
rivalry.
Teoscar. Yep, I like Garcia. I've got him in a couple other leagues, and like you said, like there's a lot of depth here. Edmund and Horner, and if you look on the pitching side, I like that he's got Lacey sitting there in the minors waiting to come up. So I think that there could be some good competition here for the West title.
Yeah. I think these guys are going to duke it out. Mike, who do you have at number 2? Oops.
I have the Angels. I like their offense with LeMahieu, Turner, Bohm. You don't know. I don't know what you're going to get him. He was the first year he came in, lit it up. Second year, not so much. Story. I don't know what the deal with Conforto is. If his shoulder's that bad, if he wants more money, I'm not really sure. But if he gets to the field, he's a solid player. And then Marquez is an okay pitcher. I wouldn't call him a number 1 by any means, but he's got Kirby over there waiting, who I think could be a number 1 for sure. Valdez is okay. So I think he's got a fair amount of pitching and a great offense that I think could carry him. I don't want to say wild card or second, but I think second in the division.
I had Angels at third. And pretty much said the same. It's a nice lineup. It's a little light on pop. Good but thin pitching, and it's maybe I scale the pitching back to decent. Framber is very good, of course. If you're an Alex Cobb believer, he was throwing 97 in the spring. Maybe he keeps it up. Alex Cobb has never really kept anything up for a full season. No. He has tantalized at times, I guess, over the course of the career. And then Marquez is an innings eating kind of guy. He's a 4.5 ERA guy that doesn't kill the whip and stuff, but he's going to take the ball every 5th day. So yeah, I like the Angels in third. Maybe fighting it out.
I'm excited to see what Mitch Keller does. I've seen a lot of stuff on him on the offseason, and he's looked pretty good. No hitters up there swinging a bat, but he's harder, hit 100 on the radar run. So, if he could locate better and just not basically.
Big ifs. Yeah, he looks great. It looks like he's throwing video game pitches in those bullpens. He's hitting 102, 101, 102, a lot of movement. But like Duke said, Duke's a big Pirates fan. He's like, he still, the command isn't there. Like, it looks great, but he can't do that with a guy in the box and get it to move where he wants it to move. So
absolutely. So if he pitches even okay with that $6 salary, that's a steal.
Sure. Yeah, that's a fair point too. Yeah, the value could be incredible.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on that. I got the Angels at third, so I think we've all been kind of right around the same areas with the top 3 so far. But yeah, did Trey Turner at 62? Was that the top salary for the league?
I believe so, because Ohtani was 60.
There's only one above Ohtani for like 60 or 61.
Yeah.
Can we go by players and sort the salary?
Should be able to, right?
I would imagine.
I think the Angels have the same problem as I do with a little light in the outfield with Phillips, White, Pinder.
Trey Turner at 62, Soto at 61,
61.
Tony at 60.
Prices were a little more suppressed in ABL, the reset, than the original ABL. And that one we had Soto, Tatis. Those guys were in the 70s. And
sold for a decent amount.
Those guys were also both actually Soto and Tatis went to the same team, and that owner is not still with us. So he was one of the tried stars and scrubs, like extreme stars and scrubs early on, and went I think 73 for Soto and maybe 74 for Tatis, and then maybe a month and a half before Josh took over the Giants. So yeah, doesn't work.
I'm not sure who's the owner of the Angels, M. Bergs, but did he jump on Duke's offer for where's my guy? I just lost him. Mick Abel. I know Duke was trying to sell him pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't recall. I guess I don't recall.
But you got George Kirby here too, so there may be some reinforcements coming. So
sure.
I think the Angels could surprise if things go right. But come to the Rays first if you're looking for pitching and you have outfield to deal.
Another Rays needing the outfield plug on the night. If you haven't gotten the theme of the night, it's the Rays needing an outfielder.
Max Scherzer did get a quality start. 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, and 6 Ks.
Nice.
It's like 2 quality starts in Major League Baseball, I think.
Yeah. Oh, man, what the hell? I went to hockey. I hate that. I hate ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN I try to just not touch.
But I use them. I use them for box scores. I do.
Yeah, they have good box score format.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
All right. Before I get too off track here. All right. So did we do Mike? Did we do who you have third? Or we all had the Angels third? Is that what it was?
No, I had the A's at first. A's first, Angels second, Rangers third.
Oh, Rangers third. Okay. So yeah, we did not actually get to that yet. You got Rangers third. I had Rangers winning, and Phil had Rangers second.
When I'm looking at it more, I could see the argument of flopping, them with the Angels. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's because Mondesi. I don't trust Mondesi.
He's given you no reason to trust him. So
yeah, no. Yeah. So I think if I could say confidently 140 games, and so that might mean 20 home runs and 50 steals or something absurd, I would probably put them at 2 easily. But I still like the Angels offense a little bit better, even with Franco, Edman, Teoscar, and Mondesi. But I mean, you could kind of interchange them. I'm not solid on 2 or 3 there.
Yeah, like we said, this isn't overly scientific. This stuff is pretty fluid. Well, Mike, who'd you have at 4 then?
I had our buddy Dan with the Mariners at 4. I like Alonso's. Like is strong, but in a 30-team league, I like Alonso. Albies, O'Neill, I like him. Jimenez, obviously, awesome. The homer in me will say that.
We'll get to that.
What's that?
We'll get to that homer angle. Not yet.
I'm sure you have plenty to say there. We'll get to the soon enough. And then obviously Burns is stud, but I'm going to be honest. I don't remember any of his starters after Burns. I don't think any of them were memorable, which I think was the problem, and I think that's why I put them at 4.
Yeah, I've got the Mariners at 4 too. I think our boy Danny went all in on a few studs. Burns is great. Alonso might be a little steep at 43, but Albies, I never thought I'd see Albies going for less than Alonso, but good job by you, Danny. I don't think the pitching is so bad. I like a few of the guys here. I think Walker may be okay, especially for $8. And then who else did I see here? Yeah. All right, I gotta talk myself into the Mariners at 4, but yeah.
I actually have the M's in 5. I put Houston at 4. I put the new guy. Bobby took over Houston from Jimmy, who
What
I
happened to Jimmy?
I still don't know what Jimmy's deal was. He never really got back to, like, he disappeared from Discord. He wasn't adding his players,
Yeah.
and he got penalized with the lost pick early on because he went another day without adding his players after being reminded. And then he wasn't responding to emails or anything. Like, Duke was emailing him and shit, and hopefully he's okay. Like, hopefully everything's all right. But he totally blew us off, and then. Yeah, Bobby took the team over, and I think look, obviously it has its holes, but it looks better than it did when he took it over. And I'm so, if I was the Mariners, I'd be so worried about the lack of any depth at all. Because if you look at that bench there, it's 2 minor leaguers and a guy without a team. So, like, the offense does look good as a starting lineup, but man, as soon as actually he has no catcher. He literally has no catcher. Not that that's a huge, issue in a categories league, but it's a very thin offense.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not gonna do that to Danny live on the pod, but I could definitely see the point to put the Astros in the cellar, because looking at the Astros team, I kind of like some of the pieces here. I like Patino. Everybody liked Paddock at one point. Brash might be good. Maybe not.
He's got Bobby Witt. He could turn Bobby Witt into a couple 3 pieces. If he really wanted to, I'm sure he could.
I mean, it may not be great for this year, but Glasnow and Soroka, they'll be good for him. So there's some good pieces here with the Astros. Maybe not competing for a division, but yeah, I could see that.
I do think the Mariners are the better team top to bottom right now, but it's just, like, again, you say about it, but the Mariners are one injury away from having really serious issues. Like, they're already not fielding a full lineup every day with no catcher. If Alonso or out, Alonso just got hit in the face like yesterday or whatever. That was scary for a second, especially if you're an Alonso owner. He just doesn't have the depth. He doesn't have anybody to take over for any of these guys. Even if, when they get their days off and stuff, one of the overarching themes in ABL is how important it is to have guys that you can just plug in there every day, even if they suck. If they're playing, they're doing something. And this isn't a points league like ABL, but I think in a 30-teamer, it still stands to reason. Tonight he's missing out on Bradley Zimmer and Jake McCarthy. They're both not in the lineup, and he just doesn't have anybody to even try to replace him with. I think that's going to catch up to him. Not saying he can't address it, and then after Burns, the pitching is pretty weak. Nestor could be pretty good.
We haven't seen Aloy play a full year yet, and who is this catcher, Mike? Who is this Zavala?
Sebi Zavala, yeah.
He's a guy that hit 3 or 4 home runs in his debut, and then nothing since.
Kind of like Yerman Mercedes. He was had the Yerman Mercedes thing going. Like, he came up and was big for like a week, and then
Mercedes at least was good for, I would say, almost a solid month. Zavala literally had 1 good game, and then
Tony La Russa ruined Yerman Mercedes. Did he ruin him with the bullshit about, like, the act like you've been there before, quit being such a show off kind of shit? Did he ruin him?
I think that was just a stupid thing on La Russa, because no, he hasn't been there before, because that was his first time in the major.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was his debut.
And if you throw a position player out there to pitch, what do? You just don't hit. There was no problem with that, in my opinion, at all. But La Russa's, he was probably
that's your guy. That's your guy. You got to stand behind your guy.
Yes, back up your guy, man. Don't throw him under the bus. That you should be happy that he did that.
He's playing for a contract there. His numbers earn him a contract.
The Sox should have went out and got AJ Hinch.
Well, 100%. That's who they should have gotten. But Jerry Reinsdorf and his love for his past employees too deep.
Yeah.
What about this? Why shouldn't they have thrown $10 million a year at Joe Madden? Do it on both sides of the city.
So
maybe he didn't want to be in Chicago anymore. He left Chicago. Like, maybe that wasn't his thing. He likes the warm weather.
Yeah.
Don't blame him there.
He likes to drink his wine at his press conference with his dyed hair and his warm weather and talk about how much of a genius he is.
And he is. He is.
He was close to blowing the World Series. I wish he did. I wish he did.
That's all Aroldis Chapman.
The Cubs have had genius managing, and it came in the form of Don Zimmer. This was some time ago,
Yeah.
but that year that Don Zimmer, everything Don Zimmer, what was it, 1984 or whatever the hell it was with the Cubs, where everything wacky he did worked out beautifully for the Cubs. I mean, it was an unbelievable year for Don Zimmer.
Yeah.
That was genius managing, maybe a little wacky, but genius managing. I think that pretty much wraps up the West, right? Like, I've got Houston at 4. You guys have Houston at 5, and the M's at 4. We've got Oakland or Texas on top, then followed by Oakland or Texas, and then the Angels. One of us have the Angels at 2, right? Am I screwing that up?
The Angels at 2, correct.
Yeah, so one of us have the Angels too. So one of us have the Angels making the playoffs. Phil and I have Texas and Oakland. Do either of you guys have one of the wild cards coming from the West as well, or is it just going to be the top 2?
Yeah, no, I don't think wild cards going there.
All right, yeah, same. So just the top 2 for me in the West. Let's move on to the Central. I'll kick off the Central. I've got Minnesota on top. I know Tyler from ABL. I know he's a solid owner, and he's also the Twins in ABL, and the Twins are a damn good team in ABL as well. I said that they have a solid, balanced lineup and a nice both starting and relief pitching. I think Tyler put together a good team, and I've got him winning the Central, going to the playoffs in year 1 of the reset. I like he's got the multi-position guys. It's a pretty deep lineup. So a lot of these guys can play all over the place. It's got some speed. It's got some pop. Yeah, I like his lineup quite a bit, and the pitching is really good, especially with Rogers now going to San Diego. He's going to be the guy. We thought he was going to be the guy in Minnesota, but then he's also got Tyler Duffy. He's got the guy that could become the guy in Minnesota. So a very fortunate situation for the reset Twins. Maybe the starting pitching is a little thin. DeSclafani, Brad Keller, Bailey Ober. After Montas, that's pretty thin starting pitching relative to like having aces. But I think it's deep enough to keep them afloat most weeks.
I'm going to go another direction. I'm going to go one of the teams I like most in this league. I'm going to go with the Tigers as my number 1.
Right.
I think it's a really solid team, great depth on both ends. I like Brendan Rodgers as a breakout candidate this year. I like Suzuki. Maybe it's the Cubs homer in me, but I like him. I like Aaron Ashby. He pitched the other day. He looked good. He's on the verge of a breakout. I like that. So I'm going with the Tigers to take the Central Division.
So that's exactly who Sorry, I'm just going to butt in now.
No, you're fine.
Tigers, exactly who I had winning the division as well for basically everything that Phil just listed, minus Suzuki, because now that he plays for the Cubs, it's suicide. But Severino, I'm excited to see him pitch again. I think that'll help him out quite a bit. And then to Phil's point with Ashby, like him. I agree. I think the Tigers are potentially probably them and the Twins, the same thing, maybe interchangeable, but I like the Tigers a little bit better.
I wish I saw a little bit more from the starting angle, but yeah, I'm going Tigers are my team, as you'll see a little bit later.
I'll to skip ahead a little bit. I have the Tigers finishing 3rd, but being one of the wild card teams in the AL. So my wild cards would be the Yankees in 3rd place, or the Rays in 3rd place in the East, and then the Tigers in 3rd place in the Central. So I do, like, what did I say? I said they have a shaky lineup, but nice RP and nice but light SP. And I kind of don't remember who. Oh wait, I was already on them, wasn't I? So I didn't really
I
remember
would
who
agree with
that
that.
was that I thought was nice but light. Oh, Logan Gilbert, Severino. I'm the Ashby owner in ABL. I'm a big Ashby fan. Um, Lauer can be quite effective. You know, he's not like a household name or anything, but he can turn in a good start or a good run of starts. And then some pretty good relief pitching with they weren't good today. Bender wasn't good today. Kittredge grabbed a win, but you know we don't use wins in this league. So
Yeah.
and then Art Warren very well could be in line for the bulk of the saves in Cincinnati. So yeah, I do like the pitching. I'm a little down on the lineup. I guess there's not a lot of pop there. You know, if Bellinger's really as bad as he's looked, um, yeah, $25 is not a bad gamble. But you know, he if he's as bad as he's been the last year and a half or whatever, that's worrisome. You don't know, I guess, what you're going to get out of Choi. Kim is a speed guy. Drew Ellis at third. I do like Brendan Rodgers quite a bit. I was one of the guys bidding on him that drove him up to $16. And he's got a top three catcher. I just I feel like it's a little bit of a shaky lineup, but I do like Detroit. Like I said, I got him winning the wild card. I got him finishing third. I have Cleveland second in this division. So let me bring up Cleveland real quick.
I think I had.
What do I like about Cleveland? I said they have a nice lineup, a little light on the speed, and Anderson Freed is a solid one too, and decent enough RP to get through the week. But that's if healthy, of course. Judge, Carlson, Lindor, Cabrian. I'm a Jeff McNeil guy. I know a lot of people aren't, but I like that lineup quite a bit. Seth Beer with the heroics last night, of course. And then some multi-position guys on the bench to cycle in and out. And then, yeah, Anderson Freed is the 1-2. Got some decent relief pitching. Feyereisen was in for the save today. Probably won't always be, but Cal Quantrill is good. Matt Manning was very high prospect pedigree guy, still young and cheap at $5. I like Cleveland. I like Cleveland number 2. What do you guys say?
I'm going to go number 2. I'm actually going to go to the Royals. They're going to be one of my wild card teams. I really like their pitching. Alcantara, John Gray. I'm a big Casey Mize fan. I think eventually Mackenzie Gore is going to get called up, and he certainly looks like he's back. So I like him. I like Clace in the bullpen. Soto, Reynolds, Brandon Lau. I think they have a good team. I like them to win one of the wild card spots.
All right.
What say you, Mike?
Yeah, that is a little bit better than the pitching looks pretty good, knowing that Duran is up and seeing him pitch today and seeing his stuff. Strengthens that pitching a little bit. I was one of the guys. I like Jake Cousins, especially in a league that uses holds. Good strikeout guy, good holds guy. Casey Mize, I have quite a few shares of this year. Jordan Hicks, who the hell knows what? I think it's very foolish for the Cardinals to try to use him as a starter. As a Cardinal fan that's seen him pitch quite a bit, I would have to expect that to be like almost an opener kind of thing. They're like nobody's expecting Jordan Hicks to throw 5 innings.
Well,
or at least I hope not.
I feel like his arm can't handle 1 inning, let alone starting.
Right? Yeah, he has enough trouble getting through 1. I mean, of course, the velocity and stuff is there, but he's kind of a 2-pitch guy.
Well, absolutely. I didn't understand that at all.
I don't get it. Yeah, I don't know much about Oliver Marmol as a manager, but I question that move.
I mean, maybe
that's why I'm sitting here doing
throw if he can 2 or 3 innings as like a second pitcher, but no, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I imagine it'll be like Woodford or somebody following him up and trying to give multiple innings out of the pen, but I don't think it's an experiment that's going to last.
I'm a little more bullish, but as Mike can attest, I own quite a bit of stock in Casey Mize. I big investor in that island, so I want to see that flourish in Detroit. Where do you have
$50 that Casey Mize win Cy Young this year?
Maybe not that much, but if Tony wants a pizza bet on wins with Casey Mize, give me the over.
So for second, I kind of have two picks. The bias in me, well, the realist in me says the Twins, the Tigers Twins. The bias in me says the White Sox. But basically, everything has to go right. McCullers and Kopech have to pitch 170 innings apiece, which is a big ask. Robert needs to stay healthy, which maybe not so much a big ask. J-Rod needs to beat Trout. Nimmo needs to stay on the field, and Senzel needs to stay on the field. If they do, there's a great combination of power and speed there to get steals, homers, strikeouts between McCullers and Kopech. And then you got Hendricks and Hader closing games, which say like today, Hendricks gets blown up, still struck out a couple guys. Worst case scenario, you're going to keep the K's flowing. So there's potential there, but then as you can tell, razor thin. Nothing after that. Maeda can't be put on the IL because I would be having a legal roster. So it's bad news. So that's the bias in me, but the realistic, probably the Twins. I would personally probably pick at second if I had to put money on this. Montas, Rogers, Castillo. When he's, it sounded like it was just a dead arm, sore shoulder type of thing. So I'm not too concerned. Cavalli, which me and Phil have had extensive talks in other leagues, very high potential. Hasn't shown a ton at the the highest level of the minors yet, but has potential, of course. And he's got a deep bench. You got Dahlbeck, you got Verdugo, Correa. So I like the Twins at 2.
I like the Twins at 1, but that's splitting hairs.
I like the Twins at 3, and they're going to be my second wild card team from the Central.
Okay.
I love their offense. They need a good Luis Castillo, though. That's and Cavalli, if he comes up just throwing darts, I like the Twins.
Mike, who you got at 3?
So I guess technically, if it's not me at second, I would put me at 3.
It won't be you at second.
What's that?
It won't be you at second.
Put me at second, you said?
No.
That's all I'm hearing. At 3, if I had to be a realist, maybe me, just based on that potential that I just said. But then following would be the Royals. And then the Guardians. The Guardians I found to be, I guess I'm jumping ship a little bit, at 5 just because of their lack of starting pitching. You got Fried, you got Kimbrel, and you got Dunning. Those are the main pitchers right there. And then Lindor and Judge, I feel like the only hitters, I'm not going to say only hitters, but the big hitters there. After that
might be the farthest apart any of us have been on 2 teams yet is you and I, Mike, on Cleveland, because you have them 5, I have them 2.
It'll be something to pay attention to when the league.
Yeah, for sure.
We get deeper.
It's probably a good time to say that I also have the Guardians at 5.
Okay.
I like a few other pitchers.
No one else.
I don't know what to think of Matt Manning. You look at Scooble, you look at Mize, 2 guys that took a nice linear step last year, but Matt Manning was just atrocious. So I don't know what his deal is, if they can count on him or not. But I also noted that they're hitting the Guardians could be underrated. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of them right now.
It's not a super deep bench, to be fair to Cleveland, but like most other teams, he needs everybody to stay healthy. But I do really like the lineup. But I agree that the pitching, I don't know. I like Cal Quantrill. I like Quantrill. It's not so much about Manning. I did mention Manning, but he of like Anderson, Fried, Quantrill, Manning's probably 4th. In that quartet, but some decent relievers. Alvarado's going to be a holds guy. Kimbrel's a save hole guy. Fireisen's a save hole guy. We didn't talk about Dane Dunning at all. If wasn't he a former White Sox, Mike?
Yeah, Mike might have him in a league or 2.
Who was it you were saying it was a White Sox?
Dane Dunning?
Oh, yeah. No, I did not like that trade initially. I thought they should have given up somebody else because I like Dunning.
So
I
yeah,
mean, innings. He's not going to be an ace by any means. He's a decent pitcher. We could use him right now.
I think the Central's going to be so if it we haven't got there yet, but I had the Royals in fourth, and Mike, no offense, I actually had the White Sox in fifth, and it's mostly due to the very weak starting pitching. On your team, like that's the thing that I worry about the most with the Sox, not the lineup or anything, because you were right, you have a power speed, especially just in like the singular package of Lubov. You have power and speed, but the lineup is fine. It's the starting pitching of the White Sox that really freaked me out when I was looking at the Central. And maybe you could flip-flop you and the Royals. The Royals, I said, nice lineup, but again, very, very thin starting pitching. Yeah, that's a theme with a lot of teams. I suppose the Sox probably have a more balanced and better top-to-bottom lineup. But even the Royals have a little bit of starting pitching.
Yeah,
the Sox do not have much, Mike.
A first-time guest should not be put in fifth place. Just throwing it out there.
No biases. No biases.
I don't blame you for the analysis, though.
Like I said, somebody's got to be fifth. That disclaimer was purely just for you, Mike. That's all that was.
Grab my charger, otherwise this laptop is going to die.
I probably, just for you being on here, I probably could have flip-flopped you in Kansas City, but I wanted to call it like I saw it.
Mike, I like your team, but I'm throwing you at fourth. Go get your charger. We don't want to lose you here. I'll tell Alan what I think of your homer-laden team. I'm with you. Alan. The pitching scares me. Does anybody know when McCullers is even going to be back?
I don't even think he knows.
Yeah. Just reading the update on him. That forearm is always leads to the elbow, so that's worrisome.
I like this thing. He's like, "Don't worry, guys. It's not my UCL. It's just my flexor or whatever." Like that's not necessarily a vote of confidence. Saying, "Oh, it's a different tendon in my arm." That don't worry. Like no, that does worry me. Yeah.
I like Kopech. This guy could be a strikeout machine. I don't know if he can do it over a full 170 innings. I think last year he topped out at 69. So how many innings are they actually going to let him go to? He's got some good relievers. So I like that. Moncada on the DL. If that's an oblique, that could be longer than the 3 weeks they're saying. Outfield is great with J-Rod and Robert, but I don't see enough. Come on.
Field, Senzel will kill it. I want to do that with Senzel.
He's never stayed on the field. What makes you think he's going to stay on the field this year?
Well, I didn't say he will. I said if he does. How much did I get?
Senzel's the guy that had vertigo in the minors, right? Like he was the one that had vertigo for a long time. So like it wasn't even like a baseball injury. It was like a weird
$6.
I don't know exactly what vertigo is, but
you can't beat that for $6. Like there's high enough upside there. I like that for $6. I don't like Moncada for 33. I had Bregman at 36, and I think Bregman's in the next tier above Moncada, at least one tier ahead of Moncada at third base. But
you're thinking potentially 2 tiers.
What do you think, Alan?
I was saying at the beginning of last year that I am one of these people that think Moncada has an MVP season in him somewhere, but he hasn't shown it to us yet, and until he does, I do think 33 is a bit high on him. But I mean, if he's your guy, go get your guy, in a league like this, get your guy. So, I am a Moncada fan, and I'm not off of him by any means, but it's just, it's the kind of thing like when he goes down, this isn't a lineup that can really is well equipped to handle that, So it's tough when these more expensive guys go down. If God forbid something happens to Robert, you're in a ton of trouble all of a sudden. And but most teams in a 30-team league are not going to be able to just replace. So there's nothing on the wire. You almost have to make a trade or just be starting a zero every day, or just hope somebody gets called up that you might be waiting on. But it's tough when these guys go down.
Who are the White Sox? Oh, stand by a second, Mike. Who are the White Sox competing with when they signed Josh Harrison at $5.5 million? Couldn't that guy have been signed for $1 million? Who are they competing with?
I don't know who. What goes through Jerry Reinsdorf's head? I can't give you a good answer.
Okay. Carry on.
I like Reinsdorf because it wasn't long ago that it was during the lockout, and we were everybody had mentioned, like, how do these owners make their money? Like, none of them made it from baseball. Reinsdorf is one of the few guys currently. He's like one of the longest tenured owners of his team, and he bought the White Sox like for really cheap, and have turned the White Sox into $1 billion team or whatever they are. Like everybody is. But I do have some respect for Reinsdorf in that he didn't bail on baseball once he made all his money or anything. He's sticking with the team. Not that he's done a great job with it, but go ahead, Phil.
I was just going to say, I think he signed the White Sox, or he bought the White Sox for like $20 million back in the early '80s, right?
It was less than that. It was like $8 million.
Oh,
yeah, it was like $8 million. Yeah.
And all the money that he's made off of the Bulls, like, can the guy just spend some money?
Now this is.
I guess he is. He signed Josh Harrison for $5.5.
This is my
point.
point.
The Sox look like a really good team. I like the Sox in the Central. I didn't do the predictions. I didn't do the Nostradamus, but I like the Sox quite a bit in the Central. But it comes down to a lot of what ifs. Can Dylan Cease do it for a whole year? Can Kopech stay healthy for a whole year? They've already lost Lance Lynn. The White Sox seem a little snake bit. Last year it was the offensive guys, and now this year already Giolito left today, and they've already lost Lance Lynn. So is it going to be the pitching this year that screws the White Sox, and the lineup is going to stay healthy? Like, they just can't seem to put it all together.
I didn't see. Did Giolito leave with an injury?
Yeah, he did. Abdominal injury.
Like so abdominal or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
They only had a few pieces going into the year to fill, and Jerry just wouldn't give up any of his pennies. And then I'm still bitter about '94. He pushed for the strike when his team was the team in baseball with the Expos. And then he was with the white flag trade. And then he's quoted saying second place is always where you want to be. You're close enough to get close to first, but you don't have to spend any more money. The guy's he's the worst. I don't want to say the worst owner. But I'm not a fan, just to keep it clean on the podcast. I am not a Jerry Reinsdorf fan.
Us Chicago guys have strong opinions on the Reinsdorfs because with them, they own the Bulls too, and the Jerry's kid
Michael.
Michael. He's like the operating officer, and he's been on record saying, like, I don't care if we win or lose as long as the stands are full. So it's stuff like that drives us nuts. And considering, as we're saying, how much their teams have increased in value, it's tough to swallow.
Yeah, especially when you have like teams in the same division. The Tigers, Illich's son is in the booth talking about how, if Torque and Green are ready, they're playing now. We want to win. All we want to do is win. And the Tigers have been kind of saying that for a while. I mean, Illich will spend the money. Went out and got Javi, went out and got Erod. Addressed the issues. They have a great young core coming up. So, yeah, that's got to be frustrating. I didn't know that stuff about Reinsdorf's kid, especially.
Meanwhile,
like, I'm from Illinois. I'm from the Peoria area, but I do not like the Chicago sports teams at all. So I was forced to be exposed to a lot of them, but they are not my teams. So. Yeah.
and on that point with the Illich, like, I lived in Detroit for a year. That's a great family that owns the Tigers, and I think they own the Red Wings.
Mm-hmm. And Little Caesars.
And Little Caesars, yep, which is better in Detroit. But I'm looking on FanDuel right now. Tigers are plus 600 to win the division. I like them to win the division. I like that team a lot.
I'd throw a bet on that. Yeah, plus 600. I'd
right.
Able that on
So
the Tigers.
I threw a bet on it, but to think it'll happen, unlikely.
Yeah.
Hey, is Mize going to be good? Is Scooble going to be? Is Scooble going to be good?
Absolutely. I like Mize, but I just don't think they're there to compete with them yet. Granted,
I love the Austin Meadows trade. Like, I think that team is good. I think they might surprise people.
But hey, we got Johnny Cueto. Okay, we're doing good things here.
No, did that just happen?
Oh, that happened.
He signed like a minor league deal with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Spend the money, baby.
The minor league veteran minimum, whatever the hell Johnny Cueto makes. He's been in the league for 20 years.
Unbelievable.
Not really off topic, but kind of off topic. There was a trade proposal that flew through my way, and I'm curious of your opinion on it.
Sure.
What exactly? There are dirty laundry out on live TV here.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. It was Javier Baez. He threw out to me for Kopech and Gavin Sheets. Is that something you would do? Ignore the salaries. Just is that something that you would do?
I'm a pretty anti-Javi Baez guy. It falls in line with me not liking the Cubs and stuff. He just is not my kind of guy. He reminds me of Soriano in a sense, and I hated Soriano when he was a Cub, especially that stupid hop he would do when he caught balls and left. That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen anybody do, and he did it all the time, and he just annoyed the hell out of me. And Javi kind of reminds me of a Soriano type, and I can't do it, man. I'm just not a Javi guy. It's like a personal bias that I can't get over, and that's a failing on my part. But
Thank you.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree on the bias part. He's I'm the Cubs season ticket holder for my dad got him when I was young, so we've had him for 25 years and saw Baez, super exciting but super frustrating player to watch. But you look at the White Sox ABL team, you got Josh Harrison and Jose Devers up the middle. Like,
if you're gonna go strictly by need here, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna get rid of Cole, one of my only starters. Then what? Rich Hill and McCullers are gonna take me to the promised land?
No, McCullers isn't pitching this year.
Don't say that. He's not out. He's on the 10-day DL, so calm down.
Hey, I traded for him in another league, so I hope he does pitch. But anything dealing with that arm makes me nervous because this is what pulled him out of. Didn't he get pulled out of Game 4 last year because of that tendon?
Well, they said the UCL wasn't damaged, so I mean, in hindsight, would I draft him? Probably not. But 15, it's not. It's a good number.
Kopech was the guy a couple years ago that he wasn't throwing a bullpen, but he took like a couple crow hops and clocked one at 110 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just insane. But he's also the guy that broke his hand getting in a bar fight. He's had TJ.
Past. Calm down.
He's a mental nutcase.
He is. He's a little bit of a hothead, but man, the stuff is undeniable. Yeah. So it's all about how much you believe. How much are you willing to believe in him?
What was it, 8 through 9? I mean, it had to be a little 15 last year. It was right there.
You've got no better option up the middle. Take the deal. It's on the table.
It's tough to make deals in this. You'll have some guys that can make 100 deals in this league in 30-team leagues. But then, I see it from Mike's side. Like, if he does deal Kopech without getting a starter back, it leaves a giant – he's filling one hole and creating another.
One.
So, it's really difficult for a lot of teams to swing deals like this. And it really has to kind of be a perfect storm or involve something other than – just the surface players.
This goes deeper, though.
Anything illicit or anything, but
I know we don't have to continue to beat this dead horse. I'm like, this goes deeper than is it Javi Baez or is it Kopech? This is Mike's Homer love affair with the White Sox. If Kopech was wearing a Mariners jersey, this trade would have been completed, and we would all be talking about it in the ABL chat room right now.
Well, his strikeout per 9, just to answer my own question, 13.4 in his first extended actual performance in baseball, that's got to be near the top of the league. Yeah.
You're not wrong. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. But can you address the allegation there that if Kopech was not a White Sox, that this deal would maybe be done already?
I don't think so. Just given the point that you made, I would have one guy, McCullers, who's not even playing right now, and Rich Hill, I guess, depending what Rich Hill does. I couldn't make that deal right now, not unless he threw another starter my way. Which I'd have to look at your team to remember what starters you actually.
There's not much there, but
they're so bad.
I'm gonna grab my cord. I'll be right back.
So Mike, you're wearing the White Sox shirt. I just saw Phil when he got up. He's wearing the John Lester Cubs shirt. Just for the record, I don't like the Cubs, but I am wearing. It's like a MLB jam instead of NBA jam, but it's the Hawk and Ryan Sandberg. Pairing up as the 2-man MLB jam combo.
Oh, I like
for
that.
the Cubs. The Hawk and the Rhino. So I don't love the Cubs, but I do respect. Yeah, that's what made me call that. I was like, okay, we're all wearing baseball shirts here, so I gotta point that out. John Lester forever, Jesus.
It's probably the last time that they were good. The shirt you're wearing. Just ignore the.
Oh shit, man. Yeah. All right, we got off on a tangent there. Let's move on to the NL, or we'll never get this thing done, and I'll keep you guys for your entire Friday nights. We'll start with the East. We'll start with the NL East since we started with the AL East, and we'll wait for Phil to get back here. But I'll go ahead, and it's time for me to be a homer because I actually picked myself, and I hate to do this, but I did actually pick myself to win the East. My first 2 days have not looked great, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. I like my lineup depth. I like my speed power combo with the speed's not the best. Marte and Witt, Benintendi will chip in with some steals. I don't have like overwhelming speed, but I think I have enough combined with some pop from Sano and Chapman and Vaughn. Tyler Stevenson is a half decent OBP catcher. So I like the lineup enough, and I think the pitching is pretty good in a 30-team league. There's not a lot of names that really jump off the page, but Green starting the year in the majors, Zach Plesac, Zach Gallen, Detmers, Merrill Kelly, and Nola, of course. I've got some save hold guys with Iglesias. Dominguez could be a holds guy. Puck could potentially be a holds guy. Stomont is maybe a holds guy. I like myself. It's a homer pick, maybe, but I'm going for it. I like myself in the East. Maybe not by a lot, but I have the Mets #1 in the East. Mike, what do you say?
So I actually had you at 3, but I can interchange that with 2 pretty easily. I think they're pretty comparable teams. I actually had the Braves #1. I thought their offense with Cron, Frazier, Bart, Winker, Abrams, Brantley, Riley Green kind of hurts him a little bit since he's broke his foot. Dominguez waiting in the wings. Musgrove, and granted it's a little bit far out, but Leader could potentially be a great addition in maybe middle of next year. Maybe later this year. I doubt this year.
Yeah, you never know.
But then to that same point, you got Gallen, who I really like if he could stay on the field. Nola, and like you're saying, you got the speed with Marte, Merrifield. Vaughn, obviously, the homer in me loves that. Speaking of that, he hit a homer today.
Yes, he did.
Should have had another hit. He got by Baez, the bum we were talking about earlier. But yeah, no, I like probably the Braves at 1. What do you think, Phil?
I don't know what happened to Phil. I'm trying to unmute Phil's mic, and it says it's not plugged in. Yeah,
I
your
actually
your
like
mic is
this
dead, Phil.
podcast- I like this podcast better when he can't talk.
Wow. I don't know what happened there. Saying. East. I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I like the Marlins for the division. I think they have good solid depth. The position players are solid. Guerrero, he's going to be another Triple Crown candidate. I like Muncy. Maybe Kelenic will be good. We'll see. We'll see if the Pirates call up Cruz. I like some of those guys. I like look at the pitching a little bit. McClanahan had a good game today. Rodon, I'm very bullish on Rodon this year, especially in San Francisco. I like him. Hendricks, my guy from the Cubs. So I like what the Marlins did. I'm gonna have them win the division here.
I kind of agree. I have them at number 2. Before I jump in, is this the first division that we all 3 had a different winner? I think this
I
is
think
the
it
first
is.
one. Yeah. So I do like the Marlins. They have a pretty solid lineup, up and down. Good but very risky starting pitching. Now, I'm sure you say that just about every team, but with McClanahan, it's not so much like how good is he, but it's how much will he get to throw? How many innings are they going to let him throw? He
Yeah.
went 4 1/3 today. Very good inning, 7 strikeouts, but again, only 4 1/3.
Yep.
Now, we don't do wins in this league, so it's not like that's going to hurt him that much. But he did get the QA7, so with that kind of funkier formula, his good start actually was rewarded properly today. But how many times, is he going to do that over the course of the year? He strikes a lot of guys out. Maybe he runs up the pitch count and doesn't go that deep into games. Rodon, the talent, of course, is there. Will the velo increase be sustainable? Will the shoulder hold up? I'm not personally a Rodon guy. I think when he's on, he's on. He looks great, obviously, last year, but so far that's been the outlier in his career. I think the staying healthy part, at least, and can you rely on him to do that?
When they sat him for like a month.
Mike and I have had arguments about this. Like, Mike doesn't know what he's talking about. Rodon, the guy threw like 50 innings for the previous 2 years. Of course, when he gets stuff to 120 innings, the guy's going to be gassed. So he's going to be built up. He's going to have a good year in San Francisco. Look what they did with Gausman. They're going to work wonders with Rodon. He's going to be good, I think.
He did get a bump for me personally, just going to San Francisco for the ballpark, for what they do with pitchers. He does get a bit of a bump. They're like the A's of the Rays of the National League, really, with what they do with their lineup and everything, what they do with pitchers. I do like him. He just, like, you can't ignore the risk. It's not as bad as Strass, but after McClanahan, Hendricks, and Rodon, there's not a lot there to lean on. It's a lot of maybe multi-inning relievers with Fleming, and then just a lot of question marks. So I do have Miami at 2. I think there's a lot of inherent risk with his staff in particular. Hendricks is, of course, the guy you can really lean on, to be your innings eater. But with McClanahan and Rodon, Strass, there's a lot of question marks there. But the lineup is very solid.
So with Rodon, I don't. There's no way he pitches 150 innings. Zero chance. A. B.
Pizza bet.
Easy pizza bet. I don't know if I've ever won that. That's how I get my kids' college funds back. But
everybody's going to be taking you up on that.
Yeah. I gotta make it back.
I would take the under personally. I take the under 150.5 or whatever. I'd probably take the under.
Adele, how did he sell for 19? Am I crazy for thinking that that's high?
He was the number one. He still has that prospect shine, I guess, and he was coming around a little bit. I can see it. Depends on who else was on the board at the time. Maybe it was a perfect storm of the right team had the money to spend, started fighting for him.
Because I was looking at that, I'm like, 19? I mean, like you said, there's still the potential there. I'm not bashing the guy so much. I was just,
Yeah.
I mean, even today, bad start over 3-3, the hat trick, but that's unfortunate. But it's one game, of course. I was shocked.
I can see it. I can see it. He plays two spots. He should have an everyday job, give or take. And of course the pedigree is there. We'd probably really have to look into the auction and stuff, see who was on the board at the time.
No, I should have got it for 33.
Yeah. I just you will run into guys that you see like that. Like, how the hell did that happen? And sometimes they were fabbed. Like last year in ABL, Alex Wood, he didn't get drafted and he got fabbed for like $33. So if you were looking at team fraud, you see $33 Alex Wood there, but he was the best arm available in the first fab run. So if you were desperate for an arm, you were spending up on Alex Wood, and then you're looking at rosters later. It's like, holy shit, why did Alex Wood go for $33? Now we know Adele didn't get fabbed, but you'll have those. The circumstances that lead to some of these guys going for what they go for, you just don't know.
Yeah. True.
I'm totally off here. What the hell were we? What were we on? Mike, did we do your number 2 in the division?
My number 2 was like I said before, my clear number 1 was the Braves, but then you and Marlins were interchangeable. Vlad obviously is pretty legit. Muncy, Suarez, Kellenic, depending what's there. Adele, I like O'Neill Cruz, depending what happens there. The pitching, like we already went over, McClanahan, Rodon, Strasburg, Hendricks, high risk, high reward. So I had the Marlins at 2.
And Phil, who did you have 2?
I have the Miracle Mets coming in at number 2. I like the team. I wrote down that they could be the team to watch in the division. So I think you did a good job, Alan. I really could go either way between you and the Marlins. I like Kettle Marte, especially for $24. I think that's a great price on him. You'll be able to keep him all 4 years at a nice, reasonable price. I think Chapman's going to have a good year in Toronto. I mean, how can he be the guy that hits 200 on that team? I don't.
He had a bad hit. He had a bad hip when he did that.
Yeah, exactly. I like some of the starters. Nola, he's going to be better than he was today. Detmers is great, especially for $8. And I'm a big Gallant fan. I mean, Hunter Green, like you said, $9 on him. Plesac for $8. There's a lot of great value here, and maybe if I keep wearing you down, maybe you'll deal Nate Pearson. I like him and his mono. But yeah, great job on that draft. I like you at 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if you took the division.
You got Miguel Vargas there too, right?
Yeah, $6.
Yeah. I like Miguel Vargas because he'll probably be playing, I want to guess, by the summer.
That's kind of my hope. Yeah, I went with he was a proximity guy for me for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. I like him.
So yeah, I had me on top. I had the Mets, and then I had Miami number 2. I've got Washington number 3. I put that they have a decent lineup that maybe lacks pop. And the starting pitching is still pretty okay, but losing Lance Lynn, of course, is going to hurt anybody. But it happens to be Washington who it hurts, a division rival of mine.
Yeah.
I noticed Adam does use the Expos logo. I kind of like that, but he is the Nationals. We see his lineup here. He's got he's actually playing Realmuto at first. So he went with the good catcher, went with the top 3 catcher. Cronenworth, he's got multi-position guys all over the place. I love that. Varsho plays all 3 outfield spots and catcher. You look at every single guy on his team almost is multi-position, even the bench guys.
I always laugh at Provar just because I remember when he was a big prospect in Texas. Oh, let's move Ian Kinsler, and this guy will fill that hole. That never worked.
Yeah.
But hey,
Provar's been a huge disappointment.
He's useful. You plug him in anywhere, and if you
not be okay. Yeah. But I loved Kinsler. Kinsler was probably one of my favorite players when he was actually in the league.
Great power speed guy. And I think we were jaded during those years at just how good some of those guys were, and Kinsler, he was a batting average guy, power speed combo. Yeah, just great kind of understated hitter.
Absolutely.
Rangers had a couple of those. Michael Young, was kind of in that. He wasn't as much of a speed guy, but Mikey Young was kind of in that same vein, kind of wasn't a big name, wasn't loud about it, just kind of hit 320 or whatever, and
20 bombs, almost guaranteed.
Yeah,
I enjoyed him.
I love Michael Young. Mike, who do you have coming in third? If not me, no, you kind of already did that. Yeah, me or
I did. You and the Marlins were interchangeable, so I'll just jump to 4. I think you guys already covered your third. Yes.
Phil did not yet.
No, I went the Nationals. I maybe I like the Expos logo a little too much, but I think I love the versatility in the lineup between Rio Muto, Profar, Cronenworth. Like just Dalton Varsho might be a great steal. I'm not crazy about that 19 price, but the guy brings a lot of value, especially with all his different position he plays. I like Darvish. I like Kikuchi for some strikeouts. I love him in Toronto with that offense. Big Skubal fan. I know Adam and I have chatted about Skubal before. Big fan of him. I think there's some potential here for the Nationals to make some noise, but I have them at third right now.
Boy, the more I look at the depth of the pitching, I could move the Nats ahead of the Marlins. Actually, I think. I don't know. I really like the Marlins lineup, but the risk of that starting pitching and then looking at the depth of the Nats, he's got a nice mix of like young and old. I mean, Bumgarner is not as old as he seems, but in like pitching years old, he's super old. He's got Waino. Then he's got some younger guys.
Just threw a gem the other day.
I could move. I could move the Nats above. I could move the Nats into number 2. Maybe I could easily be talked into that. I'm not going to do it yet, but because Adam is watching right now, I'm going to leave the Nats in third. And
we were talking at 5.
Yeah, right.
So Adam, you're blessed.
So Mike, go ahead with who do you have in fourth?
So, it's funny now that we've talked about the Nats. I actually had them at 4. But, I mean, after we're looking at it more, you're right about the depth of the pitching. I mean, so I had the Braves at 1, Marlins 2 / Mets. So, I mean, you could make an argument between those 3 teams. It's kind of almost interchangeable.
And he's going to get Lance Lynn back, remember. He's going to get Lance Lynn back, so that pitching is going to be better. Yeah, I think I could move Washington ahead of the Marlins, I think.
Yeah, I might even put them at 3 instead of you with the Mets. But I think those 3, once Lynn's back, Mets.
That feels like a low blow, Mike. I'm not going to lie. That feels like a revenge ranking. But that's okay because we're all about the honesty on this thing.
You know what? Actually, after looking a little bit harder, I think I'm gonna put the Mets at 5th. But I think the Nationals 4. Obviously, those 3 are pretty interchangeable. I think, like I said, the Braves are, in my opinion, potentially the number 1, and then 2, 3, 4 could be almost like a toss-up. I like all the teams are pretty good. After looking at it again,
we're a little bit apart again, kind of like we were with Cleveland. I've got the Braves in 4th, and it's not that I don't like the Braves. The lineup is really nice, especially with Abrams making the team.
Yeah,
but the pitching has no depth at all after 1 and 2, and that's kind of the thing. Maybe that's my experience with just the 1 year that I've been in the ABL, how much that lack of depth can hurt you. That it might be that talking. But if I was the Braves, look at this pitching. Manoah, how many innings is he realistically going to throw as a second-year guy? And then Musgrove. That's really it. Say that again?
That's where I kind of carry, I think the Phillies are – I don't want to be terrible, but I think by far at this moment the 5th place team. But maybe next year when you have maybe Sixto Sanchez completely healthy, Grayson Rodriguez up by then, maybe Espino up by then, they could be looking really great. And they got Shane Baz. That could be an awesome rotation. Just not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Go with Acuna, Cassis at that point, Jung, Kurloff. I mean, so there's definitely potential there. So they could jump from 5 to 2 maybe next year. But I think this year they're in trouble.
Phil, who do you have in 4?
Yeah, I could go either way between the Braves and the Phillies. Personally, I have the Braves up right now. As you guys said, like outside of Manoah and Musgrove, the pitching is very thin. They have Colomé and Familia to anchor the back end, but I just don't think they're deep enough. I do like Joey Bart actually, if he gets a chance to play all year. How much is Abrams going to compete at this high level? We're not sure what he can do yet. I just don't think there's enough between the Braves. I'm sorry?
I think Bart actually hit a homer today, I thought I saw.
Yeah, he did.
And then Abrams slid past second base, but he basically had a stolen base. Unfortunately. But, yeah, no, sorry, could keep going. He's muted again, unless I muted you.
We've got dead air.
This is actually.
Oh, no, Phil, we're not hearing you, man.
This is the best when Phil, you can't
hear
Phil.
You, Phil. Sorry.
It's the best.
And it says his mic is on, but we are not hearing you, Phil. So just to avoid the dead air, yeah. Phil, are you hearing us? There we go.
I can hear you guys now. My earpods must have died, but yeah, I have the Phillies in 4th, Braves in 5th, and I can go either way with that.
Let's just take a quick look at the Philly. So for Philly, I just put "oh boy" by his team, and it's because like he's so set up, like Mike was just saying, he's so set up to look really good, really pretty soon. But he has a lot of obvious issues this year. He started off trading. He traded Kyle Tucker. I think he's the one I got Gallen from. So he kind of knew immediately that maybe he had some issues with the initial auction. Threw a lot of money at some guys and maybe needed that depth to be able to at least just fill out a lineup every day. But this is a team that could easily be ready to compete very soon. He has a lot of high-level prospects just looking. Yeah. Casas, Nolan Jones, Alvarez is a high-level catching prospect. He's got Robert Hassel, who on a lot of lists is a top 10 dynasty outfielder right now. And of course, a trio of stud pitching prospects. If one of Hancock, Rodriguez, or Espino turns out to be what they could be, that's pretty much a win for Phillies Matt. So outside of like George Kirby, you're really looking at the premier pitching prospects right here. All on one team. Really, the only one at a premier price is Grayson, and 25 is not even premier if he comes up and dominates.
So Espino at $3 has to be potentially I want to say one of the, as far as price goes, low risk, highest reward for pitching prospect probably in the league. Maybe.
He got him from me. He got Espino from me in the Gallen deal, and that was the big. That was kind of the thing. We were going back and forth for a long time. Like, man, I really like Espino. The strikeout numbers in the minors have been incredible. He deadlifts 550 pounds or something crazy like that. Like he's a
him and I both.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's no big deal. I really liked him, but I do like Gallen, and
I like Gallen a lot.
To kind of put myself more in a play for this year. Kind of thing. I liked the chance I had at the division.
Well, he's still young. It's not Gallen, so he can compete now and in the future.
Yeah, Gallen's only 26, 27, so it's not like he's only $17. So that wasn't like a 1-year thing. But rather than wait for Espino, I've got Green. He wanted Green, but I'm like, I'm more probably likely. Sorry, Matt, to air our discussion, but yeah, I was more more apt to trade Espino than Green. So, but yeah, that's where he came from. So
I'm just looking at these Phillies prospects. Like Matt knocked it out of the park with these prospects.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he had a rough initial auction, but he clearly knows his baseball because he really loaded up.
I mean, Khalil Watson, he's not getting much love on the pod, but I think I looked and Keith Law had him in the top 4, I think, in the Marlins system right now. So he looks solid and Hassel.
He's got him and Mayer. He's got him and Mayer. He's got like the 2 top shortstops that were just drafted. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so he's going to be set up.
Cass is probably my favorite hidden prospect out of the bunch. I mean, yeah, he's set up pretty nice for the future.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, if you don't need very many of these guys to hit, especially at their prices. You don't need very many of them to hit to have them really pay off. Luis Matos is a big time outfield prospect. Like he's got great prospects kind of all over the place.
And don't sleep on the Cubs prospects with Owen and Kevin Alcantara. Yep. They have they're getting some high praise over here in Chicago. So yeah, I like that prospect list.
And especially in a categories, I feel like more so in a categories than a points, these guys can kind of come up and help you in their cups of coffee. If Owen Casey comes up and steals 2 or 3 bases like in his debut, that helps you win a week. His overall production didn't look great, but these guys can single-handedly help you win matchups. So yeah, if I'm the Phillies, I'm really excited about the future and not terribly excited about this year, but I don't think we'd be telling Matt anything he doesn't know already. He kind of set out to do this right after the draft, and I agree that he's done a really good job of it. That said, I do have Philly in 5th, but
if I can air out some Cubs Sox dirty laundry here, Sox fans, biggest hard-ons for Nick Madrigal. I like him. I think he's a good hitter, but an empty 300 hitter who has no range at second and can't run.
Even before the hamstring, he didn't run much.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the definition of can't run? I'm curious. Yeah, look at that. He stole, I want to say 20, 30 bags in the minors. He's not running in the majors. I absolutely agree. I don't understand it. I mean, he looked lost in the base path of the White Sox, but
it's kind of easier to run in the minors, though. Like you got to take those. I mean, I'm sure you take those with a grain of salt. Those stolen base numbers.
It's true. Like Moncada stole 40 bags a year in the minors. Has even got 15, I think, in the majors, but he never tries either. So I think Mitch Madrigal, as far as a fantasy point, isn't really much. I mean, he might get on base. Like he'll be at a decent clip, won't strike out, but what is he going to contribute to as far as like what categories? There's no big category. If he stole more bases, he would be obviously providing something in fantasy value, but he doesn't offer a ton. I think he's a better major league player, like a team player, than a fantasy player for sure.
All I'm saying is I heard from so many Sox fans, friends, that were completely hysterical that you guys traded Madrigal for Kimbrel. And in terms of bad Chicago team deals, giving up Eloy and Dylan Cease for Jose Quintana, that doesn't even compare to the Madrigal Kimbrel trade. Come on.
It's not close to that, but it still was a bad deal. Because now we have Josh Harrison at second base for $5 million.
So just for reference about can't run, Madrigal last year was in the 75th percentile in sprint speed. So he was at 28 feet per second. That's, nowhere near elite, but that's kind of like the if he does steal, that's the base running skill and not necessarily the speed that is doing. It's kind of like Paul Goldschmidt, I think, level where he's running on the pitcher, he's running on the catcher, he's getting good lead reading pitches. He's not a burner. So I'm in the right league on the right team. I like Madrigal quite a bit. If you already have the pop, you already have the speed. I love those batting average buoy kind of guys, that because batting average is tough to do in Roto. It's tough to keep a good average going, and he's kind of like the new Luis Arias, the guy on the Twins. They're very much similar guys. Him and Arias maybe plays. He's got a little bit
identical. Good comparison.
Yeah. They're high average and little else, and both of them have had some injury stuff, and they have to be on the right team in a league like this. Agreed. They can help, but I there's places I'd rather go, but I don't dislike them.
Talk just to close the book on that chapter. Tell the Sox fans to just relax. They didn't get swindled on this trade. They got an elite closer at the time. It's not our fault that he fell apart when he went to the South Side. It was a good trade at the time.
Yeah, he was supposed to be that 1-2, with Hendricks when they got to the playoffs. So I see the idea behind it, and now only getting, what did they get? Pollock for Kimbrel. So really, it ends up being Madrigal for AJ Pollock. I don't love it, but I don't think Madrigal is like the second coming of Ty Cobb or anything. So.
I don't know, Mike. Mike, I think you were the one, or maybe it was my brother-in-law that said that he was the next Altuve. It's like,
what the fuck?
All these Sox homers. It's unbelievable.
So you can't make the comparison to Altuve just on actually anything, because he's not going to steal as many bases. He's not going to hit as many home runs. Definitely not. So no, maybe Dan has a hard on.
I'm trying to think of like a comp, like a guy from like the 90s or something. You remember Randy Velarde? I mean, kind of maybe like a Randy Velarde. But even Velarde stole some bases and stuff. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who I would compare Nick Madrigal to. He's kind of just like a guy on his own, and I think he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He'll just be fine. He'll just be fine. Maybe he'll have an all-star season or two because at the break he's hitting like 330 or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's probably never going to be like a 100-run guy. He's never going to be a 75-80 ribby guy. He's never probably going to hit 10 homers.
Now that he's on the Cubs,
he'll probably always be there. But yeah, that's
move on to the Central.
Drafted him for. So
this clownery for Mike.
Clownery? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Clownery is a word.
Magical. Let's go ahead and move to the NL Central. We can go stick with the NL Central. And weirdly enough, I have the Cubs. As the champions of the NL Central. I thought they had a very nice lineup and depth, and a decent, if underwhelming, pitching, which I'm anxious to kind of see what that actually means to me now that So yeah, just first off, look at that lineup. I mean, that's clearly where the money was spent. Fantastic outfield of Castellanos, Marte, and Schwarb. They each play multiple positions. Then you have Ian Happ, who plays all three outfield spots. Manuel Margot, who plays all three outfield spots. Brad Miller plays all over the place. He has fantastic lineup depth. Those guys are all pretty much everyday players as well. None of them in their own right are bench players. So yeah, he's got some decisions to make pretty much every day. Some guys are going to have to sit on the bench. Good prospects also. I really like Pete Crow, Armstrong. Nick Plummer was a guy that I had some hope for of maybe seeing major league time this year. The pitching, I don't know. Miley going on the DL, that of course does hurt, but Pat Corbin he's not good, but in a 30-team league for $7, he actually can provide pretty great value. Josiah Gray on the same team was looking actually quite good tonight. Could take a step forward towards maybe not like a Dylan Cease breakout, but maybe a level below like a Dylan Cease, because I mean Gray was as a pitching prospect was very high level. The shine kind of wore off him a little bit when he came up and wasn't great right away. But he is a guy that the stuff looks really good. The arsenal looks really good. Greinke, $7, innings eater, kind of like the Waino, kind of like the Mad Bum, in that vein. Kluber, similar guy. Wade Miley, similar guy. But when they're healthy, when they're on, they eat innings. They're decent ratios. They could be good in the quality. What do we call those? Quality. I don't know what that's called. It's QA7, on the thing. I don't know what we call those, but I have the Cubs. I have the Cubs up top. What do you guys think?
I got the Pirates as number 1.
Interesting.
I like Jordan, Hoskins, Pham, and Andy Rodriguez is not up yet. But those 3 offensively, a nice trio. And then you got Cease, Giolito, and Rogers from pitching. So you got a nice – I think the depth is – I don't want to say depth, but the offense and pitching is spread out pretty evenly. I thought he did pretty well with that. That's 3 potential aces, and then a couple real solid hitters. And Pham, who doesn't stay healthy enough, but could be a 20-20 guy, but more so probably a 15-20 guy. So I thought he did a good job with the power and the speed. Not so much, a little bit of speed, but definitely some solid starters there.
I love. I'm with you, Alan. I love the Cubs here at first. I think this could be the best offensive team in the league as far as just nice and well distributed. I think Rizzo is going to have a good year in New York. Of course, Altuve, Gleyber should hopefully be back to where he was. Some people are super high on Schwarber. I think he'll have a fine year with Castellanos and Philly. Happ might have a pretty good year. Margot, I love that offense. It's a great offensive team. Pitching might be a little bit light, but I like some of their high end guys. Like you said, I think Gray might be better this year. I like Gutierrez actually. When Miley gets back at the end of the month, he'll provide some innings. So I think Tony, from what I hear, his reputation precedes him with the trading. So I have no doubt that he'll pull off some trades and get some pitching. So I like the Cubs, and I like them going deep this year.
Yeah, I think that pitching is good enough to win him the category or 2 or whatever that he'll need with the offense, doing the heavy lifting of the team. But the pitching, it's not bad enough or thin enough to where you can say it's going to get swept every week. Obviously, he didn't focus on like the save holds guys, but I think the starters, there's enough there that the innings and the strikeouts and maybe the ratios are going to play for him. And with some of these more workhorse types that they could be like the Mileys and the Klubers and the Corbins, the QA7s are in play for him as well. He's already gotten 1 from Greinke this week, one of the 2 or 3 in the whole league. So yeah, I think the Cubs are sitting really nice in what is going to be. I have 3 playoff teams coming from the Central.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 coming from the West as well, but we'll get to them. But I do have 3 coming from the Central. It's a tough division, but I do have the Cubs sitting on top. Mike, who is number 2 for you?
First, I'll lead off with what you just said about the Cubs. Is probably down here in Major League Baseball for quite some time. Them on top being, I'm sure Phil's well aware of this as well. But B, I have second place going to the Reds. I like Olsen, Rendon, and Freeman. That's a great trio offensively. And then Robbie Ray, solid. And DeGrom, assuming DeGrom is is healthy and not broken. It's hard to beat that duo. I think we were showing earlier there. I forgot what pitching rotation it was with. What did it have? Cole. It had like probably 200 of his $260.
I think it's the Red Sox. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's hard to find a better 1-2 than that in the league. So I think he's in a good spot there. So I picked the Reds.
The Reds? Then the Reds?
I'm saying I picked the Reds at number 2.
No, it's hard to find a better 1-2 after Cole and then Robbie Ray and Nick Pivetta.
No, Robbie Ray and DeGrom. He has Robbie Ray and DeGrom, correct?
Oh, DeGrom. Okay, DeGrom. Sorry, I missed that. We're talking about the Pivetta.
if DeGrom is healthy, Robbie Ray and DeGrom a nice little 1-2. But I mean, I think a lot is right. I think if DeGrom's healthy, I picked them as a wild card. Actually, the Reds.
Okay, Phil, who you got a second?
I have the Brewers coming in at second. I like that offense. I think Indy is going to have a really good year. I like Adames, Josh Lowe. I mean, could he be the center fielder of the future? Yeah, but I like. I actually like some of the prospects. Like, I don't think Carroll's going to be up this year, but Ramos gets a lot of love out in San Francisco. I like Alex Thomas. From the pitching perspective, like Daniel Lynch, it was a high. I think Keith Law had him as the highest rated Royal pitching prospect at one time, and he goes for $2, so he might be a steal there. And Sandoval put up some nice numbers last year, so I think there's something to like here with the Brewers team. So I have them second, winning one of the wild card spots.
I actually was the exact same. You and I are the same on 1 and 2 so far. I have Milwaukee at number 2, and mostly like with the Cubs on the back of a really, really well balanced, really deep lineup. Maybe not as deep as the Cubs, because the Cubs have. I mean, these guys too. You know, Jock plays all 3. Taylor Ward plays all 3 when he's healthy. Canna plays all 3. Got some outfielders that play all over the place. The Cubs maybe a little more flexible, but this lineup is a step below the Cubs, but up there in the division. And I think the pitching it's pretty underwhelming, but it's kind of quietly solid if these guys stay healthy. Eliser is quite good. The rare times that he's been healthy, we saw what Sandoval is capable of last year. We saw what Houck is capable of. Yarbrough is kind of that bulk follower guy, so he's probably never going to be in the QA7 discussion, but he does help with ratios. He does help with strikeouts and innings. Roansy is coming up next week or so, this weekend for the Pirates, so he's going to be a starter that he can slip in there. And yeah, Daniel Lynch is a touted prospect. When he gets James Paxton back, you don't know what you're going to get from him, but this is a guy that has thrown a no-hitter. You know, we know what Paxton can do. I like the lineup enough and the flexibility enough that I think the pitching is going to carry Milwaukee to a second place and a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Mike, who you got at number 3?
So I actually the Brewers number 3. I like them a lot for all the reasons you just listed, but my favorite thing of them is probably Corbin Carroll at $5? I think he'll be the number 1.
And Alec Thomas actually has got both of those Diamondbacks outfielders for $10 total. Yeah,
no, that's huge. I think Corbin Carroll will probably be the number 1 prospect going into baseball next year, just because everyone else, Witt, Rodriguez, they'll be up at that point. J-Rod. I think Corbin Carroll will probably be the number 1 prospect in baseball. So at $5, I think that's a great deal. And like to your point, Alec Thomas as well. The pitching initially, I think when I was looking last night, I wasn't huge on it, but you look at it a little bit further, it's not bad, especially in a 30-team league. I think he's in a pretty good spot. But yeah, I had them at 3rd.
Oh. I got to turn on my stupid headphones. They're about to die, so I'm going to unplug my mic. Damn it.
Constant technical issues with you two. What's going on, guys?
Riveting.
We don't have the kind of money that you got out there.
All I have is a laptop and a speaker coming out of it.
That's what I'm going with now. I did have the wireless. We've been on so long that they're dying on me. So, and if I have the mic, if I plug in the mic, the audio wants to go through the mic as well. So I can't hear if I don't have headphones to plug in. So I also have to unplug the mic and use the laptop.
I was telling my wife, it'll probably be like an hour. I'm like, fake news.
Apologize on my behalf. Yeah. These tend to run long.
What's one of the longer pods you've done, Alan?
For the Football Dynasty League with Harry that runs the White Sox and ABL, we did a 4-hour, and it was a lot of Tony was responsible for a lot of that. going off on some side tangents, but for baseball, we've done a couple that have been 2.5. So yeah, we're going to be pushing it by the time we get to the end of this thing.
Well, we're almost there.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
pick
getting
it
there.
up. Who did
I
you
have
guys pick?
Yeah, Phil third in the Central, Phil.
I have the Reds at third. Just piggybacking on what you guys already said, like if Rendon gets it together this year, he could be a great steal at 24. Olsen and Freeman's going to be great. I like some of their pitchers, and big on Robbie Ray, especially in that ballpark. I think the Mariners are going to be pretty good this year. I like DeGrom if he can come back. So I think the Reds could make some moves here at in the third spot.
I did have the Reds at 4. I had St. Louis at 3, and there might be. Let's see. What did I say about St. Louis? I said nice lineup, a decent front 3, but weak-ish rotation overall.
Guys,
The
really?
front 3, I guess, would be Bassett, Eflin, and I guess it would be Chris Flex with Minor on the IL. Guys again that are underwhelming name-wise, but Joe put together a good team in ABL. He knows what he's doing in these 30-team leagues. It's kind of, I guess, part of the bias, of just knowing the owner of why I put St. Louis in third, because if you just looking at the teams on their face, I could see putting Cincinnati up in that 3 spot. I have them at 4, but just knowing what I know about Joe and looking at the team overall, I do like he's got a lot of multi-position guys as well. A nice deep bench. Guys that are again kind of like he did in the ABL. He's going to have guys in there playing every day, and he knows the value of that. So I wouldn't say that him swinging a deal to Profar just hit a dong, and apparently Manaea has a no-hitter going through 5. We got that live update from Adam. But I got the Cardinals at third. I also have the Cardinals winning one of the wild card spots in the NL. So that's the third playoff team to come out of the Central. Yeah, I like the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals at third. Fourth, I put Cincinnati. You guys are maybe a step higher on Cincinnati than I am, and I think it was mostly due to the loss of DeGrom and just not knowing what you're going to get out of him. If you get 100 innings out of DeGrom, you're probably really happy because they're going to be 100 pretty good innings. But are you going to get 100 innings out of DeGrom? And if you're not, that's a lot of money to sink into him that could have went elsewhere. Of course, you don't know he's going to get hurt, but that pitching is really thin after DeGrom and who's the other guy, Robbie Ray. You're looking at Pavetta after that. That's what made me freak out on Mike. You're talking about Ray and Pavetta are a great 1-2. Like, it gets really thin when you take DeGrom out of that equation.
Oh, yeah.
Relief and starting side. And that's just kind of what worries me about Cincinnati.
I've got a. I don't know if Jordan's watching or if he comes around popping his head in and out, but as much of a hard time as I give to Mike for being a homer, I'm going through the Pirates here, and I have the Pirates fourth, and I count 13 Pirates on this team. Like, holy shit, we got Park, Tucker, Castillo. I won't go through the whole list, but 13, Jordan? Come on, bro.
I think he is a Pittsburgh guy. Like, he's a Pittsburgh native. So yeah, he is.
And being a Pittsburgh guy, he's got a couple Phillies too. He's got Hoskins. That's I don't know, Jordan, but I like some of the pieces here. Jordan, great. I'm not going to be as bullish on Pham as Mike is. I think he's way past his prime. I like Cease, Giolito, Rogers. I think the bullpen with Doval and Devin Williams is going to be great. Did he waste $5 on Fulte? I don't know. But I mean, there's enough here to like. This is a pretty competitive division, so I like the Pirates here at fourth, but I could see them. I can see them battling for third.
This was a division I felt that it was like one of the harder ones to put anybody last because it just felt like nobody deserves none of these teams deserve to be said that they're going to be like the worst in any division, because I think the NL Central is going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
But it's the lineup, it's the lack of depth for the lineup, specifically the outfield for the Pirates, that like really got me. You love the pitching, like it is really nice pitching, but I don't know if the lineup is going to carry them in matchups the way that some of the other lineups in the Central are, especially the Cubs and the Brewers.
Yeah.
And the other two teams just have a little bit better balance. Maybe the Pirates have better pitching, but just team balance as a whole, I felt you could probably flip-flop Cincinnati and Pittsburgh on any given week. But yeah, that's just how I had it shaken down is Pittsburgh 5, Cincinnati 4. How did you have the bottom of the division, Mike?
I had the Cubs actually at 4 and the Cardinals at 5.
Wow.
So
we're all over the place on the Central, me and you, man. I guess Phil too. We're pretty similar. So yeah, you're deviating from us quite a bit.
I'm very curious to see how this finishes, but yeah, no, Cubs at 4, Cardinals at 5. Don't really have much more, but I mean the Cubs, like you said, they have Corbin, who in a 30-team league is all right. Then you got Greinke, Kluber. You don't know if he's gonna get what's he gonna do. Greinke, he'll stay healthy probably, and he's not who he used to be, but he'll eat some innings. Cardinals, Bassett and Ohtani. I want to say last year was the only year that Ohtani stayed healthy the whole year, at least as far as the pitching side.
He's already throwing harder too. It's like, you get excited about that, but that also, when guys start throwing noticeably harder, means they're, exerting more a lot of times. And that, look at DeGrom, he was throwing 103 miles an hour for 2 years, and now he's falling apart.
Well, yeah. Well, and Rodon, like we discussed, throwing 100 last year, 99, then he couldn't pitch for a month.
Yeah, these guys that take 2-3 ticks up. I mean, that doesn't seem like much.
But yeah, no, that's why I have it 4 and 5. I think that's, like you said, though, maybe the best division in the league. It's a tough division.
Yeah, you can definitely make a case that the NL Central is going to be a bloodbath, much like it is in the ABL. It's a very tough division over there as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NL West, we can close this thing out at a nice 2 hours plus. I have San Diego on top of the NL West. I put that they have a fine lineup with lots of multi-outfield guys, lots of pitching, lots of SPRP, like SPARP type guys. Let's take a quick look at San Diego, see why I like them as much as I do.
Volpe's on there, and it's 1 year you're going off of that he just lit up the world. So I don't know how much faith I have in him, but I like him a lot, but it's just, I don't know how real it is.
Sure. The San Diego lineup, you're looking at Goldie, Dansby, Arozarena, Grossman, Voit. These are, J-Ram sitting on the bench right now, but, won't typically be. Vidal Brujan, whenever he gets called up, will be ready to slide in there. And then some pitching that is, underwhelming on the names, but guys that are going to throw innings, and then several guys that are in that hold save conversation that might not be the sexiest names, but are going to be around to help you win categories and win matchups, like Trinan, Romano. Even if Trinan isn't the closer in LA with Kimbrel there, he's going to be. He picked up half a save hold tonight. Daniel Hudson, same guy in the same bullpen, picked up a hat. So combined, he gets a hold out of both of those guys tonight. I've got San Diego. They're not not the sexiest team, like with the biggest names aside from J-Ram, but I like them. I like them in the West. What do you think, Phil?
I think this is the strongest division. I know the Central it's pretty strong. Going through these teams, I thought this was one of the stronger divisions. I have the Diamondbacks winning the division. I really like this team. I'm looking at it right now. I like McMahon. I'm always bullish on Rocky players. I think McMahon could have a great year. Bogarts is going to be opting out at the end of the year, so he's going to have a great year. If Pollock stays healthy, that offense is going to rake. Mullins is going to be solid. I like some of the depth they have in the bench. Pitching, at first glance, maybe you don't love it, but if you break it down, like Steele solid here in Chicago, and then you have, I think Carrasco is going to have a good year. I think Kershaw may go out with a good year. Morton is the ageless wonder. Your key. I like this team. I have them winning the division.
What do you think, Mike?
I actually had the Giants in first.
We're all different again. That's cool.
Yeah, Salvador Perez. I'm not huge on spending a lot on the catcher, but Salvador Perez is obviously proven to be pretty good. Marcus Semien, Mike Trout, if he's healthy, and Ozuna, who I don't want to say could be a steal, but I think he could be a very good player for the price he
didn't play that. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think they get, and then you got Scherzer and Verlander. Scherzer, is going to be a beast. If Verlander's anything he was prior to obviously getting hurt I don't even think he pitched an inning last year, correct?
No,
no, he didn't.
I don't know if he even touched the mound, but I think that's a great one too. So I think the offense potentially with Semien and Trout, depending if Trout runs a bit, even if he gets 15 stolen bases, I think him and Semien get some steals, a lot of power. Salvador Perez power, Ozuna power, Scherzer and Verlander. I like that.
I got to look at these guys again because I actually had San Francisco in 5th.
Whoa.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, they do have.
I'm a little more bullish too. I have them at second place. I won't belabor what Mike said, but the hitting is solid. There's a lot of solid pieces there, and I actually like some of these buy low guys like Irving and Mikulich for 6. I like this team. I have them winning a wild card spot.
Yeah, wow. I really I do. I have them at 5th. I said decent lineup, but they're missing a third baseman. I said I don't know. Yandy Diaz. I don't know. Yeah, maybe when I was looking.
But in a 30-man league, at least he's on the field.
Yeah. I don't see how these guys can be 5th, but I did have them 5th. I'll be damned. Yeah, I could definitely be wrong on this one.
It's happened. You said the White Sox would be 5th too. Sometimes you make phone calls.
Oh, yeah, I'm out of my mind. I have the Diamondbacks at 2. I think you could easily probably flip-flop them in San Diego for me. I could easily see Arizona winning the division. So I don't really have anything to add aside from what Phil said. He was right on about everything. It's a solid lineup with nice depth and pretty good pitching as well. Great outfield depth. I had the Dodgers at 3rd, and I actually had them winning one of the wild card spots in the NL. So 3 from the West and 3 from the Central. I said the Dodgers have a solid lineup with a deep bench, a nice front end starting pitching, but it gets pretty thin after that. Phil, who did you have in 3rd?
At 3rd, I actually have the Padres. I like this. I like all these teams for the most part in this division. I think it's a strong division, like I said. I could easily see the Padres doing more. I like Swanson and Arozarena to keep taking the next steps, and J-Ram is going to be an MVP candidate, of course. So it's just a matter with the pitching. Is there enough here? If Freeland could ever get out of Colorado, I would like him a little bit more. It's a little light on pitching for my liking, but I think the hitting is strong enough that they'll make some waves.
I think I do for sure have to put Arizona ahead of the Padres. Now that I look at the pitching, I think Arizona does have to be ahead of the Padres for me. So I'm going to make that change right now.
All right.
So I have the Dodgers in 3rd. Mike, who you got in 3rd?
I actually have I don't even know if I actually talked about the Dodgers being in 2nd. But either way, I have the Dodgers in 2nd.
If you did, yeah, go for it.
No, I started thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I did talk about 2nd. Dodgers in 2nd, Diamondbacks. in third. I'm okay with accelerating this. We've been over 2 hours. It's all good.
Yeah.
As for third place Diamondbacks, Morton, Kershaw, Carrasco. I mean, I want to say high risk, high reward. And then Shoup, McMahon, Bogarts, Mullins. Mullins, I don't know if I'm completely sold on. I mean, he's had one legitimate year, but still overall, that's a pretty nice balance if everything works out. And then with the Dodgers at 2, you got Belt, Reyes, Turner, Grandal, Springer, which is a nice offense. Bieber, assuming he's healthy, is all right. Eduardo didn't look great today, but his debut, but he's a good pitcher. Bauer, whatever the hell happens with him, I don't know what the deal with that is. That's a super wild card. So I'm curious to see what happens. But yeah, no, Dodgers 2, Diamondbacks 3 for me.
It's funny that you guys are more bullish on the Dodgers. I have them coming in the cellar. I made a note. Old timers team ? They have some age, some long in the teeth guys here. Grandal, Belt, Segura, Turner, Ruff. I don't know, but I like the pitching. Yeah, what are we going to get from Bauer this year? If he comes in May and he's throwing darts, like this could be a solid pitching staff, and I might move them up. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I have them in the cellar right now.
It's a tough division. It really is. I've got well, yeah, I had San Francisco. I mean, I probably need to fine tune that. I had Colorado 4th, so maybe you could easily flip those two. I said Colorado had a nice lineup, nice 1-2 starters, but very thin pitching after that. But really, the West and the Central are both kind of the same. Like I was saying before, is like you hate to put anybody 5th in these divisions because you feel like they're all pretty solid teams, like relative to the rest of the league. You've got.
Yeah, I also have Colorado 4th. Same reasons why. A little bit weak in the pitching, but hitting is solid. I think even at $43, I think Devers is going to be great at that price.
He's a stud. Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah, see, I have the Rockies at 5th. So I think we're all kind of pretty close on the Rockies there.
He's got some good value, though. I mean, Jeremy Pena, $7 could end up being fantastic. Keibert Ruiz looks almost ready to be a top 5 catcher now. At $11. But the pitching, I do like Pablo Lopez, but I'm not as big of a Freddie Peralta believer as some of the other guys you'll find out there. And then even if you are, after those two, the starting pitching gets pretty thin pretty fast. Rasmussen could be good, but he's a Ray. He's young. How many innings is he going to throw?
3 and cut him.
Question marks.
Well, Brendan McKay's another one of those guys that like Forrest Whitley, like there's still some believers out there, but I don't know if this guy's ever going to make it to the mound.
Yeah.
Two-way player, wasn't McKay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was with the Rockies, I believe, originally, right?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Yeah. And like, all the fun of him maybe pitching and then hitting in cores, and it just has never really. These guys are rarely Ohtani, they never are. In fact, it just you hope, but it very often doesn't turn out that way. Even though what's his face, Anthony Ghost, the guy that was the outfielder for the Jays and then turned into a leverage reliever because he throws 100 miles an hour, he had to stop hitting. Usually these guys can't do both.
Like Rick Ankiel?
Yeah, man. Hey, for my money.
Those throws from the outfield?
Yeah, the throws in Colorado from center field to third base, some of the best throws you'll ever see. And then when he was pitching, like in the late 90s, one of the best curveballs you'll ever see when it was on. Don't watch him in the playoffs or whatever. But, man, he had a Koufax curveball. Yeah. He really was something to be excited about as a Cardinal fan for a little bit. But, man, did that not end great. So yeah, that's the NL West. If you stuck it out for all 2 hours, 18 minutes, I appreciate it. Both of you guys, thank you for giving so much of your Friday nights to sit around and do this. Any last words you guys want to get in?
No, I'm glad to be on with my buddy Mike. This was fun. Happy to come on again towards the end of the year to see how we did with our predictions. But yeah, looking forward to getting the season going.
What do you say, Mike?
I will share the same sentiment. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to proving that 5th place wrong. Even if I only have I don't know 5 people out of my starting lineup that are actually playing currently. It'll be a tough road to prove wrong, but yeah, no, it was a good time. I'm looking forward to this season, and fingers crossed all goes well.
Yeah, good year to all 3 of us, hopefully, in all of our leagues. And yeah, we'll definitely do this again. See how the predictions shook out towards the end of the year. And thanks again, guys, for giving me your Friday night.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy.